Hello, everybody, and welcome again to All About People sessions. My name is Irene, and I am the Culture Ambassador here at Imperiall. We have with us today a very special guest. Her name is Mileiry de la Cruz. Mileiry is the Associate Director of Academic Support and Care at Clark University. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I would like to start asking you about your beginnings. Where are you originally from, or what's your heritage from, and your early education, all that. Like, how did you start it?
So thank you very much. My name's Millie, as mentioned. I was born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island. I went through the K through 12 Providence public school system, and from there, I discovered my passion at CCRI. So when I was 18 years old, I graduated from classical high school in Providence, and at the time, I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life. Like, I was thinking, a career that would help people. That was like my end goal, but I didn't know how to narrow it down. So then I decided to go to CCRI because it was the best option for me at the time. And then as I started taking classes at CCRI, I realized that I was leaning more towards education. Like, I wanted to empower people and ensure that they had access to education like I did. And so soon after, I got accepted into the Student Ambassador program at CCRI, which is a program that has to do with leadership, and you're able to give tours of the CCRI campuses and meet students and families. So then once I got involved in that, I realized that I actually wanted a career in higher education. So once I started working in enrollment services and giving tours and meeting the students, hearing their stories, I decided, you know what, I think I want to make a whole career out of this, right? So then from there, I went through it, so I was able to get a lot of mentors at CCRI that helped me. And then eventually I transferred to Rhode Island College, where I got my bachelor's in communication. And once I started at Rhode Island College, I was also a tour guide there. And that's where it really hit me that I really wanted to get a career in higher education, uplift the community, especially in Rhode Island, and just, ensure that education was something that people would at least think about pursuing. So, once I graduated from Rhode Island College in 2020, I was accepted at Providence College, where I started my master's degree in higher education. And it was a wonderful time there. I was able to meet students who were interested in what I wanted to do, which was working at a college. And from there, I met great professors who gave me advice too on how to grow too as a higher ed professional. And then while I was doing that, I was working at Bristol Community College as a student success coach, where I was able to really work one-on-one with students and provide academic coaching and build really a pathway to their success and help them build their professional and personal goals. So from there, everything just skyrocketed. And then once I graduated with my master's degree in 2022, I started looking at jobs because I wanted to do something more higher level. And then that's when I landed the job at Clark University. It's in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's a small liberal arts school. And I work there now as Associate Director of Academic Support and Care. And very happy to be here.
Oh my God, this is amazing. You are so admirable by all the things that you've done. And it sounds like you were a natural born leader.
It's funny because growing up, especially like in high school, I was a very shy girl, and I didn't really see myself as a leader at all.
Wow.
But it was thanks to the Student Ambassador program at CCRI that gave me that confidence to lead and do public speaking and help me grow as well.
I see, and that's what moved you to further and try to replicate this experience for other students like you.
Exactly, yes. So I try to be a role model for first generation low income students by myself. I was raised by a single mother in the projects in Providence, so to be sitting here today giving this interview is really an honor, and yeah, very proud to be here today.
We are very proud of you too. This is such an inspiration. It really,
Thank you.
I was reading your biography and reading about all the things that you've done, and I found it so inspiring. Because
you.
one of the things that us, like you are the daughter of immigrants.
Correct, yes.
Dominican is your heritage, right?
Yes, so both of my parents were born in Dominican Republic, and then they migrated to Providence in the 90s.
Oh, so you are first generation?
So I'm first generation, yes.
Wow,
Correct.
so you had a lot to carry with you.
Yeah, so I'm like the trailblazer of the family.
Yes, you are. Well,
Yes.
for your family and for a lot of other families from what I'm hearing.
Yes, thank you.
What would you say is one of the most rewarding things that you have found in your path so far? Because you still have ways to go.
Yeah, so I'd say one of the most rewarding things in my higher ed journey is definitely the ability to really help students and have someone to believe in them. Because in my role now at Clark, I do meet a lot with students who are either food insecure or are going through a lot of problems financially or have mental health struggles. And so it's just inspiring to be able to sit with them and give them that courage or that hope that maybe they didn't have from anybody else. And so I'm more of like their cheerleader, someone they can count on, and someone that can see themselves in them. Because as a woman of color, there's not a lot of Latinas right now in higher education. And so whenever I meet with like a young brown girl with big dreams and hopes, they're able to look at me and say, if she did it, well, I can too.
Representation matters.
Representation does matter.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this probably you already answered this, but I know that you founded a company called Millie's Career Services.
Yes.
Tell me about this. This is so interesting.
Yes, thank you. So, for a while, I was helping like my friends and family with their resumes and cover letters. And a lot of people have come to me for advice, especially for college. Like, hey, Millie, I see that you started at CCRI and then you ended up getting your master's and now you have a great job. How did you do it? So I was getting a lot of like those questions and stuff. And so I decided, you know what, let me make like a side business out of this. I think that it would be great. And so in January of last year, I decided to open up the business. It's still in the works, but I have it there available. And essentially, my goal is to really empower people to find their career journeys and to apply for those jobs that they may feel like intimidated for. Because sometimes, we look at a job and we're like, I don't fit 2 of the job requirements. I'm not going to apply.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, apply for the job anyway, be confident, and show them, the skills and qualities that you do have. And if you don't have all of them, then they could always train you, or I could be that person to empower you to get that job. So I do, like I said, the resume, cover letter reviews, job interview preparation, and also college essay application reviews and applications. So if someone, let's say, wants me to review their essay when they apply for college, I also assist with that. So it's more of like an overall career empowerment business.
Wow, incredible. And there is such a big need for that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, especially for, again, a lot of immigrant people and a lot of like first generations. Sometimes we feel we don't belong in certain places. And
Yes.
college is one of them.
Yes.
So the fact that you are out there helping people to feel that they belong and giving them the confidence to go in there, cheers.
Yes.
Go you.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm all about empowering everyone, really, so.
Right?
Yes.
And breaking the cycle. It's just like helping
Yes.
people to become the best versions of themselves.
Exactly, yeah, because, thinking back generationally, looking, let's say, at my family, Dominican Republic, there's pretty much no resources there. And so, coming here and starting fresh, I just want to inspire other people, generations to come, that you can accomplish anything regardless of your background. So although it was tough growing up, I would like work several jobs while going to college and helping my mother as well. Although I went through those obstacles, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So it's definitely possible.
And I mean, when you were telling your story, you made it sound very smooth sailing, but I am sure
Yes.
you ran into obstacles.
Yes.
What do you think, if you want to share with us, what will be one of the things that you remember the most that was one of the hardest things to overcome throughout your whole career up until now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd say when I started at CCRI, that was probably the hardest moment for me, because when I first started, I didn't have a car, so I would often take 2 buses to get to the Warwick campus from my house. And then I pretty much did not have a day off at all at CCRI, because I would work part-time in enrollment services at CCRI and do my ambassador duties. And then on Fridays and the weekends, I was actually working at Walmart as a cashier. So pretty much Monday through Thursday, I was at CCRI. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was at Walmart.
Wow.
And I would work there pretty much like 25 hours a week. And so combined, I was working 50 hours a week, more like 40 to 50, let's say. And then I was also always full time at CCRI. So I was taking like 4 to 5 classes per semester. So I was like juggling, school while working, while making sure my mother was okay, because I lived with her at the time, and trying to keep up with my social life. And so during that time, I did hit a deep depression. I was like, this seems never ending. Like, when is this going to stop? But luckily, with the help of my support system, my mother, my family, friends, colleagues at CCRI, they motivated me to keep going, and they said, you know what, this is gonna, be worth it in the end, Millie, just keep going. And I am a believer in God as well, so I would always tell God to give me strength to keep going, and así fue. So in the end, I graduated, and then the rest is history now.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds... A lot of people, when they see you, I am sure, they think like, oh, look, she's got it all figured out and she did it.
Yes.
But people don't hear the other part of the story, which
Yeah.
is what most people go through, especially people from low income, people with food insecurities, people
Yes.
of color and women. We
Exactly, yeah.
and we have the whole bingo card.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so a
then
lot of people, you're right, they say, oh, you have it all together, but they don't know that
that
beneath that, it
sometimes-
was so much work and
So
sleepless
much work.
nights,
Yes.
staying up late, with doing homework and all that. So,
Yeah. So what kept you going?
so one of the things that kept me going was my passion for helping people. Going back to that. So I just knew that I had it within me to be that person that people can look up to and pursue, their dreams and their education. So I just kept saying to myself, if I make it where I want to make it, then, I could definitely help other people, get to that step. Especially, when it comes to applying for college and going through the FAFSA, and all the complicated things that go with college. So, that's what I wanted to do, to really help people get there.
Wow. It's an incredible journey. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I know you were the co-chair of the Equity and Inclusion Council at Bristol Community College.
Yes.
What initiatives were you most proud of when you worked there, or what are the things that you championed the most while you were in there?
Yes. So before Clark, as I mentioned before, I did work at Bristol Community College as a success coach. And then given the work that I was doing there, eventually I did get noticed. And so somebody nominated me to become the co-chair of the college's Equity and Inclusion Council. So once I started that work, I would pretty much lead the council meetings and then just with the group brainstorm ways on how to make Bristol more inclusive. So one of the initiatives that we did there was just talking about different departments and how we can make it more accessible to the community. So one of the projects that we worked on was translating our website, right? So as you know, fundamental, right? We have a large Cape Verdean population in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And a lot of Cape Verdean students go to Bristol, as well as Hispanic. And so we realized that a lot of the content at Bristol was just in English. And most of the marketing staff also only spoke English. So a lot of like the ads and stuff were not really accessible to the Hispanic and Cape Verdean community.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we were working on, I did leave after that, but I did leave the ground running, was to translate all of our websites, our flyers and contacts in Spanish and Portuguese, Portuguese Creole as well.
Yeah.
And that way, you know, when, let's say a student wants to go to Bristol, they can look at it and say, oh, okay, I understand what is being displayed here, and that would motivate them to apply and eventually get their associate degree.
Absolutely.
So
just applying to college, it is really hard and really stressful.
yes,
And the fact that it's not even in the language that you can understand, it just makes it harder, and it's so easy to get discouraged.
exactly. Yeah.
So that is a great initiative, a very important one, because
Yes.
people need to be able to understand what they're trying to, if they're interested in applying or following higher education. It is just so important to feel included.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah.
And right now you are also a board member in a charter school. That's a recent position that you just started, right?
Yes,
Congratulations.
yes. So, thank you. So a couple of months ago, I was appointed as a board member for Nuestro Mundo Public Charter School. It's a bilingual school in Providence, and the mission really is to empower our youth in Providence, especially our immigrant bilingual community, to become leaders and become good members of society once they graduate. So it's very exciting. I recently joined the board, so I'm still in the works with it. But our goal really is to bring in community leaders to eventually get inspired by our mission and give back. And also to serve as mentors too for the students at the school. So we have a lot of Dominican, Puerto Rican, and other Latino students there.
Yeah, that is very important. I've noticed a lot also in public schools in Providence, where my daughter goes to school,
Yes.
that there is a lot of parents that will try to communicate with the staff at the schools, and not a lot of people speak Spanish.
Yes, that's a big problem.
It
now
is
often.
it's a big issue. So
Yeah.
I like that you are part of this board, and I'm hoping that this will replicate into other schools,
Yes.
and more people will get, like, inclusion is important. And part of it
Yes.
is not just having the students physically there, it's also the families should feel welcome, and they should be able to understand what the teachers are saying to them.
Yes,
Or the
exactly.
staff.
Yes, so very happy to be there and representing. Yes.
I love representation. It matters.
Yes.
And how do you balance all the responsibilities that you have with I'm assuming you have a life.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the things, you know, as I've gotten older, I realized that you really need to prioritize yourself above everything. And so I do now practice a lot of self-care. So although I work and then I do these other responsibilities, I always make sure I take time for myself, whether it's after work just unwinding and watching Netflix, or hanging out with my friends, or going to a spa, which I love doing. I feel in my element there. And just overall, just taking a moment, just a few minutes to really, you know, take a deep breath and think about how far I've come. So that's one of the things too that keep me going nowadays, just looking back at all of those struggles, you know, the CCRI days, the sleepless nights handing in papers for school. and just realize that there's more coming after this. So this is only the beginning for Millie. My goal is to actually become a college president. So my dream really is to, maybe at CCRI, who knows, but to really, run an institution and ensure that we have systems in place that helps our first-gen low-income students graduate with their degrees. So I would definitely love to implement programs that would help this population of students and also transfer students, right? Because when I went to CCRI, a lot of people actually, weren't very supportive in the beginning. They were like, oh, CCRI, what if the credits don't transfer?
Wow.
You went to classical high school, a college prep school. Why would you go to a community college? And so a lot of people doubted me actually in the beginning. And so I want to also prove that even when you start at CCRI or any community college, that you could make the best out of it. And it is possible, of course, to transfer to a 4-year college and get a bachelor's and beyond. So, I also want to keep that in mind. If I'm a president, to have good transfer programs in place for students to have that option to transfer to.
Yeah, information. This is so important. And I am sure whatever your goal is, you will definitely achieve it. And we'll be here to cheer you on. And support you.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you what was in the future, but
I answered it, my bad.
You answered it. And this is so exciting. And again, you are an admirable person.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see all the things that you're going to accomplish and all the people that you're going to inspire. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I know you're very I appreciate you taking the time out your busy schedule to come here.
Yeah, of course. Once again, thank you so much. Shout out to Maria for inviting me here. She's awesome. And thank you very much, Irene, for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you all for watching. And we will be back with another show all about people sessions. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.